President Biden is now officially past his first 100 days in office, and he and his administration have been keeping busy. The president's first 100 days have been marked with really radical, aggressive, anti-life, anti-family, and anti-freedom actions that have already cemented him as perhaps the most far-left president ever. And you need no more proof than that, than the fact that AOC has been pleasantly surprised by the progressive nature of the administration. But he defends his really kind of radical economic policy by saying that this is how he's going to create a lot of jobs, it seems. And he really prioritized this in the speech, and I want to listen to just how many times he said he focused on this issue. Go ahead and play that.
And the process will create thousands and thousands of good-paying jobs. The American Jobs Plan will help millions of people get back to their jobs and back to their careers. The American Jobs Plan is going to create millions of good-paying jobs, jobs Americans can raise a family on. And it raises revenue to pay for the plans I propose and will create millions of jobs that will grow the economy. What I'm proposing will help create millions of jobs and generate historic economic growth. The consensus is if we act to save the planet, we can create millions of jobs.
Millions and millions and millions of jobs. That apparently is what Joe Biden is going to do for us. And of course, if that happens, we will all be happy. With us to talk about that proposal, whether it's actually going to materialize, is Congressman Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania. He is the ranking member of the House Subcommittee on Oversight. Congressman, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Joseph. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you, and we're dying to know, do you think that Joe Biden is really on the path to creating all these millions and millions of jobs that we keep hearing about?
You know, I don't think it's hard to figure out what path President Biden is on. He went from creating thousands and thousands of jobs to millions and millions of jobs. He talks about a new source of energy and this idea, and I think it's fine to dream about our future energy needs and talking about let's not turn back on everything that's above. I mean, we have so much available to us. But the question is, so why would America turn her back on all that's below? We have incredible stores of fossil fuels. We have the ability to be the leading exporter of energy in the world, going back to our standards, our old standards of oil and coal and natural gas. We are abundant with these gifts from God. But all of a sudden, that's just not good enough. We need to create thousands and thousands and millions of jobs. And what the president hasn't said, in order to do that, we've got to put millions and millions and thousands of people who are currently working out of work and telling them, look, all you have to do is go back to school and just learn about these new opportunities, and you'll be all right going into the future. And also, he always lays the burden on it's not going to affect you. We're going to be taxing the wealthy. We're not going to put that burden on your shoulders. I would just say that story has been told so long and so often in the past that we know now. That's a fairy tale. Look, America's greatness lies not just in the stores of energy, but also in the energy of its people. Americans have always risen to meet whatever challenge there is. That's why we're the greatest country in the world, and that's why thousands and thousands and millions of people have come across oceans and deserts to get to America. And so you look at all of this that's being talked about right now and say, my goodness, where did these people grow up? Where did they go to school? What in the world is taking place right now in America? It is so counterproductive to who it is we are as a people.
I think you make a good point, and Congressman, the idea that this retraining, we're just gonna re-engineer economies in communities just because we want to. I actually grew up in a former logging town on the coast of Washington State, and during the 80s and early 90s, we went through that, and we had signs in our yard saying spotted owl tastes like chicken because the Environmental Protection Agency at that point was threatening to them dozens of lumber mills that were really the backbone of the economy, and ultimately the spotted owl and the EPA won. And the town I grew up in has never recovered from that, and I think there are many examples of the fact that when you shut down somebody's economy, it doesn't recover as quickly as the government tells you it's going to recover when they're pushing those proposals. What do you think is the response to what he's trying to do, specifically on the energy front?
Well, I think for most of us, and depending on how long we've been on the face of the earth and how long we've been in America, we look at who we are as a people, where we are as a country, and understanding that the assets that we have are gifts from God. I think at some point you look at what these people dream of and think what they really want to do is change America. They want to change America to something we will not recognize. Their ideas are really so far to the left. And when you tell people, look, you can actually, with our policies, you're not going to have to work on an education to ready you for jobs that are available in America today where you can make a great living, raise your family, support your churches, support the towns that you live in. And they come up with this dreamscape that they talk about that really is nice to talk about. These dreams are wonderful to have, but I'm always faced with the cold reality of what life is about and saying, you know what, this is what we know to be true. We have watched our growth. We have watched our ability to defend freedom and liberty across the globe. We are the first responders to any type of a disaster that takes place. We're the first ones there. The only way we're able to do that is because we are in good position with our economy. We have the ability to help others who don't have the same assets, who do not have the same potential. America, always first to respond in any type of a disaster. So the question would be, what's so bad about the America that we live in? And the folks on the other side will answer, well, everything. Don't you understand? We have been living a lie. That's not the America that the rest of the world sees. And I always say, if we're so bad, why are thousands and thousands and millions of people doing what they can to get to America? We are the only country I know that contemplated putting up a wall to keep people from streaming in as opposed to putting up a wall to keep people from getting out. There's no other place like it in the world. Anybody that espouses any other type of a philosophy that somehow America is not as great as she says she is, I would just say, where else have you lived? And then explain to me why it is that everybody flocked to America. Why are we the greatest home for so many people? And again, it goes back to who we are. It's our Judeo-Christian beliefs that makes us great because we follow the Word of God. We just don't follow it. We live it every single day. And our total commitment is to all our brothers and sisters, not only in America, but around the world. If they need us, we're there to help them. But the only way we can stay in that position is by staying strong economically, being able to defend ourselves against those who wish to dislodge us from that position, and always placing our faith in the Lord and saying, Lord, just help us get through this. We can do it. We can do it on our own, but we also need it with your help. So please give us the guidance.
Amen. I feel like I should just wrap right there, but we actually have more time, so I'm going to keep going. But thank you for that. As you've observed the first 100 days of the Biden administration, what have you learned? Has this been better, worse, exactly as you expected? What's your take home from this?
Yeah, and again, this is so unusual by a candidate who really didn't campaign, who said that, well, people are saying I'm a socialist. Come on, look at me, guy. Oh, come on, man. You know I'm not. Look, you know my whole life. You know who I am. You know I'm not going to espouse those type of policies. And then all of a sudden he gets in office, and it's just exactly what we were afraid would happen. You know, what he's proposed so far. And now, in addition to our budget, which is already, I think it's $4.8 trillion, okay? That's our budget that's proposed. The President of the United States, in his first 100 days, has proposed another $6.6 or $6.8 trillion in spending. That's not part of our normal budget, but this is what we're going to lay on. Joseph, that's $60 billion a day in his first 100 days. Good Lord, please, somebody put up a stop sign for this man. It's time to look at who it is that's responsible for all this spending, and it's hardworking American taxpayers. There's no other source of revenue. It comes out of people's pockets, the American people's pockets. And it's just so false to make it a statement, well, no, you don't understand. See, we're only going to go after those horrible corporations that are too profitable. We're only going to go after those really wealthy people. That's what we're going to go after. And the very fact that that's the way they define the American people. And I hate the term, well, these are middle-class people. No. In America, there's no such thing as class. There are middle-income people and there are lower-income people. There are no low-class people in the United States. I want to make sure people understand that. When people start using that language and then saying that's what you guys are, you don't have any respect for us. You're racist. You're white supremacist. No. Stop it. That's divisive. That's right out of the rules for radicals. And it's just, look, if the president is going to say he's going to spend money, understand that anytime a politician says they're going to spend money, what they mean is they're going into your wallet, Mr. and Mrs. Taxpayer. They are going into your wallet to fund every single wish list that they have out there, and it's in their best interest of getting reelected. There's an old saying, Joseph, and you know this, you can't beat Santa Claus, and too many of my friends actually believe that some of these things that are taking place are wonderful, and all I say from this, it's your money that they're giving you. They're not giving you any other money than the money that they're going to back tax you for. So if you think that's a gift, it's not. You're going to get the bill. It's going to be sometime in the future, but when it hits, you're going to hold your head. Oh my goodness! I wish somebody had told me that they were going to take it out of my pocket and give it to me. But it just doesn't make sense. And again, people have to wake up. You made a statement earlier, and I fully agree with it. The most important position in any community in our country are the people serving on our public school boards. Please, folks, please. Get involved. Take a look at who's running your school. I sat in the school board for 4 years. I had no idea who in the world picked the textbooks that we were using. I had no idea who was developing the curriculum. When you asked that question, they were the department heads. I said, no, who has oversight over the department heads? This is called a public school. The public funds it all. The public has oversight over it all. And I'm sorry, please, 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 get involved in your public schools because they are filling our children's heads and have for almost 70 years with this terrible, terrible philosophy from the far left. And even our own children start to wonder about, is this really the America that my grandpa went to war for? Is this really the America that my grandma raised us in? What is going on? Please, folks, get back in your school boards, drive the policy that you know is healthy for America.
Congressman Mike Kelly, thank you so much.